Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today I've got a few ranked games, some brawling action to share with you guys, and I'll be honest, I can be a little bit dumb sometimes. I've been feeling a little like this patch has been kind of boring and random battles have been a little bit frustrating. And in my videos this month, it feels like I've always been talking, especially with the tier 9s, about just wait to play them in brawls or ranked game modes where you can have a better time. And then proceeding to just not go play ranked myself when I'm not having as much fun in random battles. So today we're gonna fix that. A bit of a mistake, but one that is fixable. Tier 7 ranked here, at least in Bronze League. Haven't played for a while, so we're in Bronze at the moment. And Tier 7 is probably one of the more fun tiers for this. We do have a lot of brawling ships, a lot more close range action. And Scharnhorst 43 existing at this tier is just so much fun. This might be the best present that Wargaming has ever delivered in this game. Scharnhorst 43 being a free-to-earn ship during the Christmas update last year, and a fairly reasonable free ship to earn too. There wasn't some insane requirements for it, at least not that I really remember. It was like halfway down a very easy battle pass on the free track even. So a lot of you got this ship, I know. For those of you that missed it, I hope it comes back because it is just so much fun. It is a little bit different than the normal Scharnhorst in a few key ways though. The guns do have a bit longer reload, but your secondaries are about the same, which is nice to have. And especially important here is going to be your torpedo power. The Torps, they reload in 45 seconds, which is just kind of ridiculous, honestly. So in these closer range brawling scenarios, you can just be spamming Torps out. A very dangerous ship when you let it get within those 6 kilometers. The secondaries pulling their weight as well, going to do a ton of damage this game. And being a mid-tier German battleship, we do have actually pretty good armor for our tier. I will say that the German battleship curse of superstructures does exist here a little bit, but not as bad as those high tiers, especially relative to the firepower at tier 7 here. The Scharnhorst 43 also having a speed boost makes it just incredibly fun to play. So here we're just kind of waiting for this Gneisenau to push in and hoping to land some torpedoes. A friendly Scharnhorst 43 also lands a torp. It's pretty fun. We did have to give up the contested cap though. As always, you do want to be generally fighting for that, especially as a battleship with pretty decent armor and HP. Our dispersion's pretty bad here, but I am running a secondary build, just fully investing in that brawling action. And it's a lot of fun, man. It is just so much fun. I really think that if you're struggling to enjoy the game in random battles, play some ranked or some brawls. It is a really, really good time. You just have to get out of the mindset that you have to rank up, I guess. That's kind of the one downside of ranked game modes is there's just a very in-your-face at the end of the battle, rank up or rank down, gain or lose stars. And if you let that get to you, certainly ranked can be less fun. But if you're able to treat it as the 6v6 close-range brawling game mode that I see it as, it can be a great time. You just have to ignore some of your teammates that might be a little bit frustrated. Maybe chat off would be a good idea and just kind of vibe and have a really nice time brawling it out. We do lose one Scharnhorst here on our team, and our teammates getting the other cap, so we kind of have to hold down the fort here with our cruiser and destroyer here, although soon to be just the DD. And since these game modes have so few players relative to random battles, suddenly the maps become much more important and your positioning becomes much more important. There's just more emphasis on how you individually are going to play the map, and I like that. I like that a lot. There's just more in your control. There's less of those just insane blowout games that are over in like 4 minutes and there was just really nothing you could do. There's just more that is offered here, and because of that, island cover becomes just a very important element of the game that is less so in random battles. You could just never play here as a battleship just because anybody in the middle or other side of the map is just going to farm you down and kill you very, very quickly. But in this case, we're able to isolate this engagement against this enemy Scharnhorst 43 as much as we can. You know, there's Fiji could poke out and get some shots into us, but we don't have to 2v1, right, against the two Scharnhorst there. We do aim for the Fiji to make him back up, essentially, and then just continue on with the Scharnhorst 43. If you have Lucians, of course, you get that nice reload buff on those secondaries. Can be quite useful. Our heal proc there didn't actually help us too much. With Lucians, when you get 3 spotted ribbons, that's kind of the gray ribbons up there, you do get a minor heal, but we didn't have any healable HP at the time, so it didn't really help us that much. And just going to duck behind the island here. No point in sitting there, since our teammates are in the south already. I want to get through and help them out as much as I can. Still thinking about where that enemy DD is. Destroyers are incredibly powerful in this game mode. I did play a few games, and one of them was in the Haida, which a bit of Canadian bias at this tier. Certainly is a very overpowered ship at tier 7. You have some of the best concealment in the Haida at that tier, and some of the best guns and utility. You get a hydro as well, the fuel smoke or the crawling smoke. That ship is insane. Fortunately, didn't have to fight against it here, but I am worried about where that enemy destroyer is. Could he be torping me? Where is that ship? And no hydro on the Scharnhorst does make it a little bit awkward here. Again, trying to isolate fights, push out a little too far, and let the BG get some shots into us here, but trying to just isolate on that Scharnhorst 43. Just having games like this where you're closer than 15 kilometers and your positioning matters, what you do matters in the game. It's so much more fun, man. It really is. And unfortunately, there's some ships at other tiers that I want to play, but I might have to just start doing more ranked games, I think. Scharnhorst pokes out. You saw I was getting a little bit ready for him, but wasn't totally sure when he would push out towards us, and we get caught very broadside to him. Fortunately, he's got the high explosive. Classic German battleship. Torps get blown off instantly. But I'll gladly take that, where our Torps are gone permanently, to not eat a full broadside AP salvo. Even from a Scharnhorst 43, that AP can hurt at those ranges. The C-cap now getting flipped is exactly where the enemy destroyer is, so we know. Very insane game here, already up to 180,000 damage. Broadside Fiji, 5 kilometers, 2 overbends. Did you think I was going to dev strike him there? Nah, not with Scharnhorst 43, unfortunately. We do have other tools that allow us to do some really nice damage, though, and namely these Torps and Secondaries apply a lot of pressure, and I'm hoping to get a nice bow overmatch Citadel here. Otherwise, we might die to his Torps, but we do finish him off. That's our first kill. Let's go. 195,000 damage into this one. Absolutely insane for a ranked game. This is 6v6, man. Very fun though. I love this ship and a few others. If you have the regular Scharnhorst, it can perform similarly as well. And then we also have something like the West Virginia 44. If you manage to get through some of the Wisconsin dockyard, you'll find that that ship was at what, 20 stages done, something like that, and a very fun one. So we'll take a look at that one real quick after this as well. Nice base XP, and look at this secondary damage, man. Just absolutely ridiculous for a ranked game. 46k raw, and then another 27 from those fires, and a little bit from a flood. But that is so much secondary damage. More than I'd usually see. I will say, got IFHE on those secondaries, at least on that ship. And this is just... what was that? I could not believe it when that happened in-game, by the way. West Virginia 44, not the most accurate ship in the world, and just our front guns, dev strike an angled tier 7 cruiser. That shouldn't happen. That is exactly what I'm talking about, by the way, whenever I talk about overmatch and battleship accuracy. That is just the absolute worst form of overmatch in this game. That should never happen, in my opinion. An angled cruiser like that, sure, takes some damage. But a full L dev strike like that is way too much. Even a Citadel there, honestly, probably too much. But then I want them to be punished a little bit more consistently when they go broadside, right? To me, that makes way more sense. It's just a very obvious mistake to go broadside at 10 kilometers to a battleship. But if you're angling to that battleship, that's also a good play, and that should be rewarded by not taking that level of damage or hardly any damage. The problem, I guess, becomes when everybody just sits angled and does relatively low damage to each other. There are problems with removing overmatched, certainly, but I mean, a lot of things, a lot of different systems can be better than that. I mean, I'd probably just quit for the day, to be honest with you, if I was that ranked cruiser right there. That is crazy. And now we're just gonna not hit these Scharnhorst 43s, bigger ships, closer ranges. So, RNG, man, a little too present here in some of these battleships and cruiser engagements, unfortunately. Cruisers can do well in this tier 7 ranked, although they are at a pretty big disadvantage relative to their higher tier counterparts that do have more damage output, more armor, more utility than they do at tier 7 relative to their tier counterparts, right? It's a bit rough getting through cruisers at these mid tiers. Maybe if Wargaming added a single heal to some of these mid-tier cruisers, you know, maybe don't even let it be buffed by Superintendent, perhaps. I don't know, but just some kind of healing. Healing for, I mean, look at this dispersion, by the way. That's the same ship that Front Guns only dev-struck a full health tier 7 cruiser in this same game. And we basically missed a Scharnhorst 43 at 5 kilometers. It's sad. I'm laughing, but it's kind of sad, actually, the RNG swings in this video game. And it kind of just leads to frustration, I think, on both ends. I guess for me, because I've played the game for quite a while, I'm not even that happy to get that dev strike, to be honest with you. I just feel like that shouldn't have happened, you know? Maybe when I was newer to the game, I would have been happy with that, right? Because I got a dev strike, right? But at this point in time, I want a dev strike when I feel like I earned it, I guess. When I catch someone broadside, when I outposition them, I force them to make a mistake and capitalize on that. Not just the game says that guy rolled a 1 and I rolled a 20, you know? That's what it comes down to, for me at least. But that said, West Virginia 44, a very fun battleship in this Tier 7 ranked mode, certainly has amazing secondary firepower, much more DPM than a Scharnhorst 43. We didn't get as much in this one, but they obviously don't pen quite as much. So into battleships at closer ranges, you're going to shatter a little bit more. As for the builds here, they are very, very ranked focused. I would not recommend these into random battles, although you can run a more standard build if you're just, you know, not willing to spend the, frankly, insane amount on respecking commanders all the time. I get it, but as a full ranked build, this one works pretty well. I would not recommend it in randoms. In a normal random build, including concealment and an extra heal instead of close quarters combat, vigilance, and turret traverse can do quite well into these ranked games. I've just kind of fully optimized or tried to optimize this for very close quarters engagements, not even taking brisk, because again, I want to be at close range, so I am spotted where brisk is not going to help us. And that works out pretty well. These secondaries penning 32 millimeters, maybe not as much value at tier 7, but there are certain ships like Nelson that do have 32 millimeters on them, and you just tear right through them. And that's pretty nice to have. Just the full pen damage, even in that game, you saw is very, very nice to have. Equipment-wise, yeah, just go secondaries, basically. Maybe that's why, I suppose, the Torps died. You know, you could take main armaments, but then your secondaries die. So it's a little awkward. We do at least have preventive maintenance that should be helping those Torps stay alive, although didn't quite. And West Virginia 44, relatively similar, outside of taking the extra healing and concealment here. I guess, honestly, I probably don't need the concealment. Probably should go close quarters combat now that I'm looking at it. But this one, taking IFHE, means we pen 26 millimeters of armor, which is the battleship threshold at this tier. So I will take it on this thing, but none of the other higher tier American secondary battleships that have the 127s, at those tiers, then it doesn't really make as much difference to pen 26. It's only tier 7. And even in randoms, I might not be willing to take that IFHE as much. But this one's slow, very slow. If you're into more fast-paced gameplay, Scharnhorst's the way to go. This one, very slow, but very, very high damage output from this thing, and can be quite fun to play as well. Nice to see two really, really fun, interesting secondary battleships for this ranked game mode that came out and weren't crazy overpriced and very reasonable to get for most people, I think. Wisconsin Dockyard, you didn't have to pay for to get this ship. It took some more grinding, though, certainly, than the Scharnhorst 43 did in the Christmas update. But hopefully we see these come back, as they are very, very enjoyable, and were really nice to see just as a normal player could earn these. I'm a little focused on that these days, since this update's been pretty heavily monetized. So it's nice to remember that Wargaming can give things out to the free-to-play players and people who aren't as interested in spending money. And I hope that that will continue. But thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And consider this the PSA to actually listen and go play ranked if you're frustrated with randoms. I'm mostly saying that to myself, but there is good times to be had in this video game, especially if you can avoid those carriers and subs and play against your own tier. That's typically what I'm saying in a lot of my random battles videos, and I've finally listened to myself after like a month. All right, have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.